I come from Ukraine.
Okay, how long you don't there for Germany side?
Because immediately the war starts, so it takes away a year before I came here.
Okay.
So I've been here for 2 years.
Okay. That time when you dey Ukraine, so wetin be that thing wey you be say you dey do that time when you dey Ukraine?
So road construction, that's my work in Ukraine.
Okay,
Before I came here.
before you came here. Okay, since when you come dey Germany now, wetin be the thing wey you feel say e dey different?
Because Germany is better than Ukraine. In one, there is a kind of they welcome anybody as
Okay.
long as you are doing what is correct. You are
Genuine.
welcome. But in Ukraine, foreigners are not cannot boldly come out and do things even to get a work in Ukraine as a foreigner is very difficult.
Okay,
It's very difficult.
okay, you dey try tell me now say for Ukraine and not get freedom.
Yeah, foreigner no get freedom in Ukraine and here like here.
Okay. Okay, since when you come dey Germany now, wetin come be that thing wey you dey do for Germany now?
Now I'm doing a work because when I came, I first go German, Dutch language.
Okay.
Maybe that was 1 year
Okay.
before I get a work. My job center was telling me to look for work. It's better for me than taking money from job center.
Okay.
So I have to look for work. Now I'm working on my
You
own.
came from Ukraine alone or with your family?
I came alone. I came alone.
Okay.
I was having a family in Ukraine, but I divorced with the woman, Ukrainian woman. I divorced with her with a kid. So but now I have a wife in Nigeria, but that was in Nigeria. She's still in Nigeria with my
Let
children.
me ask you, how long you spend in Ukraine before you come to Germany?
In Ukraine, I spent more than 20
When it
years.
comes to asylum seeker in Ukraine, how did it go?
You as a foreigner who you fully live in Ukraine and you
Yeah.
have your document, you are still suffering. Less of someone who is seeking for asylum.
Ah.
It's a little bit difficult for asylum seekers.
Okay, what could be your advice to someone you know telling you that you want to go to Ukraine for asylum seeker?
Honestly, I would not advise that person to go on. It's better if you are from Nigeria, it's better you stay back home. But Nigerians, when they are at home, some people they will even like to sell their house to go to even common vet. Nigerians when they are at home, they like to go out. I don't know what's the problem. But maybe here in Germany it may be better, but in Ukraine, I'm not advising anyone
Okay.
to go
If
there.
someone you know having 20 million naira in Nigeria telling you that you want to make visa and come to abroad, the way abroad is now, will you advise him to come or not?
I will advise the person not. 20 million naira, you can use it and start up something at home. Why spending it only maybe for visa? You came here and start afresh. I don't see it as a wise. 20 million naira can start something at home. As I'm here now, if I have 20 million naira cash, I'll go home and stay with my wife and my family at home. I stay there. I'm here now for how many years? Coupled with how many years I was in Ukraine. My children at home, they are growing. So I will only talk to them. They will say, Dad,
Yeah.
but they are growing without me.
You don't feel the vibe.
Yes, they are growing without the father at home, unless maybe if I can be able to bring them here, which is I don't know how possible.
Okay, but like you now that have family at home, how often do you normally go home?
That is still I have been here for 2 years. But when I was in Ukraine, yeah, I went home. I go home every year. But here, since I came here, I've never gone home.
Such people that always want to jump out from Africa to come to Europe when they have such money, what's your advice to them?
Of course, stay at home with that money, not a family. Be with your family. Because with that money, you can get something doing.
Okay.
Maybe open a shop, open a business.
Okay.
I've been doing it, maybe, yeah, I know it's small money. You're getting this money is actually small, but when you are there with your family, it's better.
It's better.
So I think it's better.
Do you think that we foreigners, especially Africa that live in Europe, that we are happy being in Europe?
Of course not. Of course not. I myself, I have been living in Ukraine and here also. Of course, I'm not happy.
Can you just throw me one or two lights why you are not happy?
One, I told you now I have a wife at home
Okay.
and my children, 4 kids. at home. I'm not even talking of the one I have in Ukraine. I'm not talking about those ones. Those ones, they are the Ukrainian woman and the son. They are all belong to Ukraine. I have a-
Okay, you said that the one that you have in Ukraine, they belong to
They
Ukraine.
belong to Ukraine. Yeah. The one I have in Nigeria, this the one I know that whenever I grow old, they are with me. But since I'm here, wasting, it's like I'm wasting time here and they are there. My wife gave birth. When I came here, my wife gave birth to a child. This, the last one. That one, I only talk telephone. He doesn't know who is the father. But when I talk of phone, yeah, I saw him jumping, rejoicing, but he have never seen me. Okay, imagine he grows up to big. He cannot know me as a
You
father.
know his papa.
That's my plan now. Anytime, like as I'm working now, maybe anytime I get a kind of old love, I have to go visiting. And visiting them is still not enough.
The way
Maybe,
you explain this now, if they should give you like 20,000 euros, are you trying to tell me that you move to Africa?
it's too much.
It's too much.
Of course, 20,000 euro is too much. Of course, it's too much.
Okay.
There are many things to do at home. I know the money is not coming. Even if you are not educated, even
Yeah.
if I don't have any certificate,
Yes.
you can buy that 20,000 euro can buy up to more than 4 buses. Put them on the road. It's because when the war started in Ukraine, I wanted to stay back at home. Okay. I was at home.
Okay, he was in Nigeria.
When the war started, people were calling me from Ukraine that the war started, and even I was in Nigeria when they told me that my shop is boarded. Okay. I wanted to stay at home. Final, but I did not get something to do. My wife, family, they were trying to help by asking if I have a kind of certificate so that they will put me into a something. But I don't have a certificate because I left school from during the secondary school. So I was looking for work. I couldn't get. And there's no money. If I have such money you are talking about, of course I wouldn't be here today.
What would be your advice to our young generation that always like to move to Europe? They believe that Europe is heaven ahead.
Europe is not heaven at it, but you know that our Igbo people used to say, "Ebe onye nọrọ ebe ọ nọ, ebe ọ na-anọ ha, a na-agụ ya."
What does that mean?
When you are somewhere where you have never been, you want to be there.
Okay.
You want to make anything to be there, and you don't know what is what is happening there.
Yeah.
So that is it. Europe, I don't know. It's not advised for someone who is at home, who have something doing, to left. And I got that some people sold land, sold many things for them to travel, which is I don't borrow it as a good idea. It's not a good idea.
Okay.
Even I myself will make that mistake. That's why I said when I was in Nigeria, I want to go Europe. If somebody is telling me from Europe that no, don't come, I will say no. You are enjoying, and you are telling me to don't come. That is this.
Okay, you are trying to tell me that you made the mistake of
Of
coming
course,
to
it's a
Europe.
mistake for everybody.
Which mistake is that?
Of course, I saw so many things for me to travel to Ukraine.
What are the things that you saw?
I saw my car, my plot of land for me to move to Ukraine. So when I got there, I saw that
It's not the way we see it on
it's not the
television.
way we are seeing it. Before you know it, you spend 10 years. Yeah, before I know what is happening, 10 years as well.
Are you kind of regretting now or what?
Of course. Of course.